Tiebreak has already been out for 1 whole month, and they've seen a bunch of updates and changes that even I've struggled to keep up with and cover. And a lot of these changes has made things better, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. So today we're going to be looking at the current state of Tiebreak by breaking down every substantial update and change to the game since release. An area in the game that received changes early on is serving. If you remember, between like early access 6 and 7 of Tiebreak, serving was completely reworked, and a few issues that people were complaining about was that it was a little too difficult to work the way around the new mechanic where you had 2 serving types and the timing had also changed. Since then, the devs have put in some work to adjust the difficulty of serving in the game. Also remove some early exploits with like I think slice serving, which was a bit of an issue. And yeah, I feel like serving right now in the game is in the best spot it's been at since early access and when the game released. I feel like I'm able to nail down risky and also safe serves more consistent. However, some work that still needs to be done with serving is that when you're serving in the game, it doesn't really feel like a weapon you can use to win points easier. In the game, I rarely get aces, or when I do make serves that I feel like are pretty good, it doesn't really give me an advantage. It doesn't really open up the court for me, and the shots coming back at me are just too good, whether that's being online or against the AI. So although serving in the game is pretty good right now, I think this calls for the return of serves to be reworked a little bit by the devs, as I feel like right now, once you understand how returning works, it's so easy to counter big serves. Okay, we're now moving on to a section that I really didn't think I'd be even including in this video, and that's going to be roster additions in Tiebreak. Before these additions, the roster was pretty much the best I've ever seen in a tennis game, but somehow Tiebreak have added even more. Since the launch of the game, there has been 7 new players added. That is Federico Coria, Jason Kubler, current WTA number 9, Danielle Collins, doubles Grand Slam winner, Kokkinakis, 2014 Wimbledon finalist, Eugene Butchard, former world number 1, Barbara Krejcikova, I think you pronounce it, and former French Open finalist, Karolina Muchkova. So yeah, some pretty solid additions there by Tiebreak already. It's going to make career mode way more well-rounded in the game, and to see more players added in this big roster already is crazy. I'll be real. Something I did not expect. But if there were some things I want to say about the roster, is that we're still missing some key players in there, like Alina Rybakina, who was listed in the players that we'll be seeing in the game. So hopefully she is coming soon. We're also missing players like Monfils, Lorenzo Musetti, who you can find on the community creations, the academy mode, but are still not in the game yet, which could mean they may be exclusive players in a different tennis game, but we will see what happens with that. Also in the game, there has been a lot of improvements to the game's AI, or the CPU, whatever you want to call it. When the game first released, I'll be honest, the AI was really lacking in a few areas, and a lot of people were saying that the game's difficulty in general was a little bit too easy. I wish I was on that side of the camp, because when I play Tiebreak, the game seems to be on a different level, but maybe it's just a skill issue and I'm just not that good. But anyway, since release, there have been 5 key improvements to the AI that I will cover today. That includes improvements to the power and shot depth. I feel like the devs definitely raised this to the max with the AI. I feel like it's been raised a little bit too much, as a lot of the AI shots are so deep and powerful almost all the time. Producing these kind of shots yourself is really hard. So I feel like that needs to be toned down just a little bit. They've also improved the AI against slice serves and the AI's unpredictability, which is something that I've definitely seen improve. Like the AI are coming towards the net more often, also being wrong-footed quite a lot of times in the game. They've also improved the AI flat shots and also limited the AI's unforced errors. Areas that I still think that could be improved is definitely seeing more double faults with the AI. Also I think the AI rarely sort of make mistakes within the rally. Like rarely hits like short balls that you can attack as a lot of the balls that the AI seem to hit are just the edge of the baseline. But overall, I'd say the AI is steadily improving, and hopefully these little things can be addressed in the future. There's also some changes to the Djokovic Slam challenge in the game. There has been 2 to 3 updates within this, but the main change I've seen, you can now select the difficulty you want within the challenges. Now let's talk about career mode. When the game first launched, this mode had a few glaring issues. One of the big things is that you could not upgrade your player to increase your stats and become better, but now that seems to be fixed. They've also added training in career mode as well, where you can further increase your stats, and you can now also play multiple years in career mode, as I heard that was also an issue for some players. I will be honest, I haven't really played career mode that much, so I can't really give my full thoughts on it, but I will be streaming Tiebreak career mode eventually live on YouTube, so stay tuned for that. But right now it seems like it's in a pretty good spot. But if you haven't, if you're watching this and you're having a few issues playing career mode, let people know in the comment section. A really big strength of Tiebreak is that it has community creations in the game where you can make and design your own venues and players. However, early in the game there was some issues with the custom venues where there'd be no crowd or sponsors. A good thing is that now that has been fixed. When you play on venues like the Roland Garros, US Open, you can see the sponsors in them, which are big positive changes. Now, a game mode we never saw in early access was doubles, and I was always confused about why we didn't get to play this mode in early access, but when the game released, I kind of understood why. As when the game first released, doubles was kind of broken, but like the rallies within them were super inconsistent, the movement was a little bit off, the shot selection that the AI took was a little bit weird. It would always play these weird kind of lob shots. So yeah, you weren't getting the best experience when playing doubles on Tiebreak. But since then, there's been a patch that tuned doubles in the game, which managed to fix most of the issues. So now you can have a pretty consistent rally in doubles. And yeah, I'd say when I played doubles today, I had a decent amount of fun playing it. I'd say sometimes the AI net player looks a little bit dead when rallying. Like, they look a little bit too stagnant. Like when you watch, because like when you watch doubles in real life, the net player is constantly moving towards the tram line to the middle to try and poach shots, but the AI just seems stuck dead. So one thing I would change in doubles is to sort of make the net player move about a little bit more, to make just to make the gameplay feel more alive. But other than that, it seems alright. Another thing that changed a lot since release is the tutorial mode. Tiebreak have added way more drills in tutorials to help new players learn the basic mechanics. They've also added the endless mode in tutorials where you can use any player you want to practice your ground strokes with a ball machine. One thing I'd like here is if the ball machine was just like a rule player where you can have as like a hitting partner, where you can adjust that player's difficulty just so you can practice in there instead of having to go into a play now match to play against the AI. The game now offers a selection of 3 new movement options in an attempt to give players more options on how they want to play the game. 2 of the options on there, Tiebreak and Tiebreak Assisted, are 2 modes that were already in the game where you gotta use 2 buttons to scramble and move around the court. The new option is called World Tour mode, where instead of using both triggers, you just use the R2 button to sprint and scramble to get to balls, which I tried live a few days ago and I found it so hard to get the old mechanic out of my head. But yeah, overall I feel like it is a good solid change, as I guess using R2 and L2 to sprint can be a little bit awkward, as I don't think any sports games uses that sort of control. And yeah, I think overall the movement has really improved in Tiebreak since launch and since the early access phase. We've definitely said bye-bye to the weird sliding days that we saw in early access, and now I feel like the movement in the game is in a really strong spot. Within a lot of these patch updates and patch notes that have been coming out, there's always a fix that's called stability improvements throughout almost all of these patches. This is of course quite vague, so I've got no clue of what this fix is every time I see it. One thing that it might be that I've definitely seen a difference is the overall online experience. I feel like when the game was in early access and when the game first come out, online kind of felt glitchy at times, quite unresponsive and overall quite laggy. Now I'd say the game online feels really smooth. Like I really enjoy playing online for the last couple of weeks. So I feel like that's a change that devs have definitely been working on. Another fix that could have been made under stability improvements is shot balance in the game. When I talk about shot balance in the game, I mean the difficulty of the different variety of ground strokes you can hit in the game, whether that being flat, topspin, lob, whatever. Like way in the early access days, it seemed to be flat shots were too hard to do and topspin shots were the only sort of shot you can do consistently. Towards the end of early access and when the game first came out, topspin shots received a really big nerf where it was hard to do and flat shots were buffed a little bit too much to the point where it was way too easy to hit consistent flat shots. But now after countless updates to the shot balance, it seems like the devs have finally sort of worked this out, that where flat shots are not too hard to do but not too easy, and topspin shots are overall the pretty standard solid shot, which I feel like overall emulates real life pretty well. In the comments, let me know what you guys think of the game so far. If you played the game yourself or if you've been watching people's gameplay and reviews of the game. Personally, for me, I feel like the game is at a pretty strong point. Like it's came a long way since release, since the early access days, and I feel like if some of the things I mentioned today are fixed, the game will only get better. So there are still a few improvements that I haven't spoken about today that I might cover in a different video. If you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Over the weekend, we also reached 3,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. As I reach 3K subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway of one free copy of Tiebreak. If you want to get involved in that, there will be a link in the description to a Google form where you just fill out your email and username, and then eventually I'll do a draw, and then whoever wins it, I'll send a code to. But yeah, that basically rounds off the video. Have a good rest of your day and I'll see you in the next one. Oh god, bro, nah, these longer videos kill my throat, bro. My god. Pause.